Morning, Monsieur Poirot. Any more thoughts about what we found in the ruins?
Poirot always has the thoughts, Monsieur Lane. Who can tell which will prove to be most significant? What are your plans for this morning?
I've heard there's a fine church in these parts, St. Patrick in the Coombe. I'm going to try and track it down.
What illness forced you to leave your position?
It was... I confess it was nerves, Monsieur Poirot.
I did not mean to intrude.
No, it's quite all right. No sense in my hiding the fact. Women, they are so often at the source of evil.
Do you think so?
Man alive, don't you feel it in the air, all around you? We spoke of it yesterday at the ruins, the presence of evil.
Oui, Monsieur Lane, I feel it. I am able to assist you in your search, I think.
Oh?
I found this pamphlet at the establishment of Mrs. Hughes in Lettercombe.
Oh, this is marvelous. And there's a map and everything. Let's see, it'll make a fine hike over the moors, too. Thank you so much.
Monsieur Lane, I wonder if I may ask you the questions somewhat painful.
Your kind gift has lifted my spirits considerably. I will answer if I can.
Your church was near Brixham, I believe.
Oh, yes, I had a small living there. Why?
Are you familiar with Mrs. Potter's School for Young Ladies?
Why, oh, yes, Miss Potter herself and several of the girls attended my church. Not as many as I would have liked, but some.
Do you recall the Conservatoire de Dance near there?
Oh, yes, Miss Brewster, who is stopping here, was an instructor there.
Does the name Millie Parsons mean anything to you?
The murder. Yes, it caused quite a sensation. A teacher at Miss Porter's was accused. No charges were brought. Simply the ruin of a man's reputation. He may have been misguided, even driven. But the Parsons girl brought it upon herself. Of that I am convinced. And then, only a few weeks later, another murder. They must have been connected. And of that second crime he was wholly innocent, I have no doubt. So what he said in a moment of weakness...
What did this teacher say to you?
I may no longer be of the cloth, Mr. Poirot, but I will keep the confidences learnt while I was still in God's service.
Even if it allows a murderer to go free?
Please! God must judge, not I.
Tell me of the second crime.
It received quite a bit of press at the time. Alice Corrigan was the name. Strangled, as was the Parsons girl. The husband was suspected, but again, no arrest was ever made. I'm convinced the two crimes were the work of one man.
And a motive?
Women are at the heart of many tragedies.
In this case, they were the victims of tragedy.
Can you doubt? They brought it upon themselves, through fornication, adultery, and godlessness.
It is my nature to doubt, Monsieur Lane.
Yes, of course. You're a detective. Still, I would think your experience would have paid witness to the truth of my words. I may have misunderstood and unburdened myself too freely. I must be off if I hope to reach the church and be back before it gets too late. Thank you again for the information.
The fellow is right round the bend, Poirot. He practically admitted he knew Millie Parsons' killer, yet did nothing because she was a girl, and somehow deserved it? That's monstrous.
It is true he appears to be quite selective when it comes to forgiveness and compassion. Yet it may very well be that decision to keep silent caused his breakdown. His pain runs deep and the struggle, it continues. There may be hope for him still. Mademoiselle, if I may have a moment of your time?
I only have a few minutes, Monsieur Poirot. I'm meeting Mrs. Redfern at Sanctuary Cove at 10:30.
I will come straight to the point, mademoiselle. You were a student at Miss Potter's School for Young Ladies in Brixham, were you not?
I was. I'm not anymore, though.
Millie Parsons was a classmate of yours?
Yes.
A close friend?
Not really. We knew her, my friends and I, to speak to. She seemed a harmless or rather sweet, actually.
Why did you leave school?
Monsieur Poirot, I like you, but I'm not sure you have the right to ask me that question.
Did you know an instructor named Gideon Fell?
Yes, we had him for anthropology.
He was a poor teacher?
He was all right, I guess. I am very interested in anthropology. That helped, I suppose.
What most interested you in the class?
Superstition. Much of what we call superstition has a basis in fact. Religious practices and so on.
You did not like him?
At first he seemed all right. He took several of us to the picture show to see a horror film called Curse of the Islands.
The film, it was frightening to you?
A bit, I suppose. But I found it quite interesting, actually. But then he started acting strangely towards some of the girls. He was creepy. Always making comments to girls when he thought they weren't here. Complimenting them how they looked.
Was he interested in Millie Parsons?
He told me he had followed her once in the woods. He grabbed her wrist. When she tried to break away, he said how much he liked her hair and her frock. She broke away and threatened to tell Miss Porter. She said he looked at her with his face all twisted up. It was horrible, she said.
This interest, it was more than politeness?
A lot more.
After Millie's death, you said nothing of Mr. Fell?
I did. The police looked into it. They said he had an alibi. But I knew. My friends and I knew.
Millie told Miss Porter of this incident?
No. One of the other girls had already complained, and she did nothing. She accused the girl of trying to make trouble for Mr. Fell because he gave her bad marks. You don't believe me, do you?
Au contraire, I have known many alibis that seemed unbreakable, only to shatter as easily as glass when the right force was applied.
He did it, Monsieur Poirot. He killed Millie. I have to change into my swimming costume now. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Thank you for speaking with me.
I say, Poirot, do you think you can break this Fell character's alibi?
If I can, Hastings, Miss Brewster and the police will have their answer. It is quite a view, Hastings.
Monsieur Poirot?
Good morning, Madame Marshall. I regret I have not yet found the writer of those notes.
I wouldn't worry myself if I were you. In fact, I'd like you to forget about them.
You have learned the identity of the author?
Yes, and if there's any further bother, I will deal with it myself. Is that clear?
That could be dangerous. An argument will not assist us, Hastings. Better to comply. I will do as you ask. That is a scent most charming that you wear.
Thank you, you're very kind. It's an expensive indulgence, especially for the beach. But I like it, sir.
You are going for the swim?
No. I wanted to use a float.
Use this one with my compliments.
You won't be using it.
No, I am certain of that.
Do something for me, will you?
Anything. Hastings, do not become smitten with this woman. She is charming, yes, but it will cloud your ability to investigate.
Sorry, Poirot. She's just so damned attractive.
Don't tell anyone where I am. Everyone will follow me about so. I just want for once to be alone.
She wants to be alone? I don't believe that for a minute.
Very good, Hastings. You read her character well. I concur. She is the rendezvous, I think. But with whom?
Morning, Poirot. Seen my wife anywhere about?
Has Madame risen so early?
Well, she's not in her room. Lovely day. Think I'll have a bathe right away. Got a lot of typing to do this morning.
Morning, Marshal.
You look for Madame Redfern?
Christine is off sketching somewhere.
I say, it's that North chap again.
What course of action do you suggest, Hastings?
Ask Mrs. Redfern to make a sketch of him.
An excellent idea, my friend. Then Colonel Weston can send a picture to Scotland Yard for identification.
Monsieur Poirot, thank you again for the sketch pad.
It is my pleasure, madame.
I intend to make good use of it today.
Madame, do you have the time to make this small sketch for Poirot?
Why? I'd be delighted to. It's the least I can do.
There is a man at the landing of the sea tractor. Do you think you could make the portrait of him?
I don't see why not. I've a little time before Linda will be ready.
And madame, if you could contrive to do so without his knowledge? What will you sketch today?
I'm meeting Linda at Sanctuary Cove at 10:30. While she swims, I will sketch her guillemots for her.
You are kind to take an interest in her.
She's having a rough time of it, I'm afraid.
I believe you are correct. A friend now will be of great help, I think.
Oh, I must say it's rather exciting having a detective on holiday.
Monsieur Poirot, any luck with finding my typewriter?
Oui, mademoiselle. This is it, is it not?
Yes, indeed. Wherever did you find it?
I would rather not say at present.
You are being most mysterious.
It is my nature to be mysterious, I am afraid.
Well, I'm happy to have it back. Thank you. Please let me know if there is any way I can repay you.
I will? Where are you off to, may I ask?
The Ledgers to read my book. It's a rather good thriller by Graham Greene. Do you know his work?
Bien. He is an excellent writer.
Then I've a tennis date with Ken, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Redfern and Mr. Gardner at 12. I'll just put this typewriter in my room, then I'm off.
Enjoy your day, mademoiselle.
And you, Monsieur Poirot. And thanks again.
N20, E15, and 19. Poirot, they could be a map. The number of places north, east, and north again.
And their starting point?
Albert Bagby at the Monk's Hood Inn told you that Tom Carter would spend hours on the island's summit. It was his favourite spot on the island. And we found Gardner poking about up there as well. I'll bet he's come to the same conclusion I have. This is a map to Tom Carter's treasure. North 20, east 19, then north 15. Let's see where we end up, shall we?
4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20. Eh bien. Now east. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. Hastings. 3 more steps will put me in the center of the... What did you call it?
The ad service court. Poirot, something is buried there. That's why the ground keeps settling. Dig! Dig!
Against my better judgment?
A treasure chest! Oh, that...
They're old brandy casks. Congratulations.
I was so sure.
I suggest another visit to Monsieur Bagby, if you insist on pursuing this.
Good idea, old fellow. First you'd better finish filling in the hole and raking the tennis court.
Hello? Need the sea tractor, do you?
Yes, please.
On me way. Mr. Poirot, I wanted to thank you for helping clear up the misunderstanding with Gladys. I know it sounds silly, but I think she was only doing it because she wanted to pinch my shovel.
The village is practically...
Hello, Mr. Poirot. Not like you to look so out of sorts.
Did you not say the key to finding the treasure was to start on the island summit? Hastings, we are not here for the treasure hunt.
Well, that's what most believe, eh? What of it?
The directions I discovered led to where the tennis court is now.
Don't tell me you dug up Mrs. Castle's tennis court.
Yes, very amusing. Have you any idea where we could have gone wrong?
Well, let me see. Oh, rot.
All right, why do you say this?
Well, if you started at the current high point on the island, you would easily go astray.
The current high point?
Yes, you misunderstood me.
I? Poirot? He does not misunderstand.
But you have. Let me explain. That hill is the highest point on the island now. But of course it wasn't back in Tom Cutter's day. That was long before the hotel, remember? They levelled the land around there when they built it. The highest point used to be... let me see. You know that grassy path out from the main entrance a ways? The one that leads to the bathing beach? Well, that used to be much higher. That's where old Tom used to sit and watch. You really did dig up the tennis court?
Good day to you, Mr. Bagby.
If you'd like a game of dance, just ask.
Corned beef sandwich and well past its prime by the smell of it.
Morning, Poirot.
Major, you are here already?
I've already worked with the dog. He'll do as I say. Are you ready?
Proceed, Major.
Stand at attention, Baskerville. Heel.
It's a miracle, that is.
Sit. Easy as anything to train a dog. You just know how to talk to them.
Your skill is extraordinary, Major. Now I will open the door. Command him to enter, and we will let nature take its course.
Ready when you are, Poirot. Enter Baskerville. Baskerville, enter the shop. He won't budge, Poirot. Can't say what the trouble is. Have you any way to lure him inside?
Hastings, do you have anything that might attract Baskerville? That is exactly as Poirot was thinking, Hastings.
Was that poor Baskerville again? You'd think he'd learn not to come round here anymore.
I do not think that is a problem. Voila, Madame Hughes. The case of the missing post is solved.
Why, do you mean to say my dear little Chloe knocked those letters back there by accident?
That your cat pushed them the room, it is not for Poirot to say.
Oh, Mr. Poirot, how can I ever thank you?
It is my pleasure to assist you, Madame. However, there is a kindness you can do Poirot in return.
What is it?
Choose wisely, Hastings. I could make good use of your testing equipment. Excellent, Hastings. You are sharpening the detective instincts.
I'm not sure. You are a detective.
Colonel Weston will vouch for me.
Ah, well then. Of course you can. I'm happy to be of service, I'm sure.
Merci, madame. You do that great service for Poirot. Oh, that does not make sense. The tablets of Monsieur Lane are most certainly dry enough.